What is up, everybody? LinkedIn, YouTube, glad to be back for another BizBuzz Live. On today's show, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to dive in and talk about retirement. Why? April is Financial Literacy Month. So this month, we're going to be talking about money on top of a lot of the career, industry, entrepreneurship things that we've been talking about on the show. But specifically this month, we're going to talk a little bit more about money. Might even have a guest on for you this month. But today, we're going to talk about retirement and wondering, are people really on track for retirement? Are you really on track for retirement? Stick around. Let's talk about it. All right, everybody. Welcome back to another Wednesday episode of BizBuzz Live. We talk all things career, job, industry, entrepreneurship, basically the ways that you go off and make money. I'm Chris. I'm your financial coach. I teach people money. I've had the privilege of lifting up the hood under people's financial life over the past decade and really getting to see what people are dealing with financially. And oftentimes for our business, we're talking a lot about the fundamentals, the basics, the foundations, how much comes in and how much goes out, also known as your cash flow, your savings, your retirement, your debt, your insurance, your estate plan, your general strategy or financial plan of how you are going to get to whatever your financial goals are. Ladies and gentlemen, everybody's financial goals are a little bit different. But I want to make sure that people are on track to hitting those financial goals. And cash flow, what comes in and what goes out, your income and your expenses is where most people get hung up. It's where most people need to start their foundation. If you have holes or weak parts of your foundation because you can't save all that you want to, or debt's not going down, or any of those types of things, then cash flow is probably your issue. Man, I don't have it here, but you find this on the replay. We'll put it in the description below. But we just rolled out a set of 5 ebooks, talking about those financial foundations. There's an ebook on cash flow, giving you the tips and strategies of what comes in and what goes out and how to get your cash flow right. We have a book on savings, on short-term, mid-term, and long-term saving and investing strategies. We have an ebook on debt, how to manage debt, how to get out of consumer debt. We also have another one on life insurance, on educating people about the importance of having proper protection, not just job insurance, not just insurance that your mom has on you or your spouse has on you for your kids or whatever, but proper protection to make sure that your income is properly protected and stays in your family. We also have another ebook on estate plans where we're talking about, again, wills and trust and making sure that you have the right things in place to be able to pass your money down, right? The right things in place to be able to pass your money down. So we'll put it in the descriptions here below. You're probably going to hear it a bunch more here on LinkedIn, here on YouTube. You can follow me on other places. You'll probably see it because we're going to be promoting it a bunch this month. Again, because April is Financial Literacy Month. We want to come out and make sure people are educated and have the tools and resources that you need in order to take your finances to the next level. So look out for those. Hey, today we're talking about retirement. I'm curious, are you on track for retirement? Do you feel like you're on track for retirement? If you're watching right now or you're watching on the replay, drop a yes, I'm on track, or no, I'm not on track. We might throw a poll up here in a couple of days. We might throw it up here later today or tomorrow to ask, do you feel like you're on track for retirement? Are you underprepared? You feel like you're right on track? You feel like you have more than enough? Where do you feel like you sit when it comes to retirement? And this stems from, again, an article. A lot of the stuff that we talk about stems from articles that are out here that you might read. We have a Wall Street Journal article. There's another article from Yahoo News talking just this week about retirement and how people need a lot more than what they actually have. And in our financial life and being a financial coach, this is a conversation that comes up a bunch about how close people are, how far people are to their retirement, to actually getting to the place that they want to go. Here's a bigger question. How much do you even need for retirement? How much do you even need? Do you know that answer? Something that we often educate on and teach about is, man, if you don't have a goal, if you don't know exactly what you're trying to hit, it's likely you'll get nowhere. If you just set out in your car and you just start driving without a destination, how do you expect to get there? You don't know where you're even headed. Let's say you do know where you're going, but then you have no roadmap or no GPS or no way to get there. What's the likelihood of you getting there in that sense? Not at all. So again, for this retirement planning, this long-term process, most of us are 10, 15, 20, 25, 30 years away from retirement. So some of us can't think out that far, but you should if that's important to you, because it's going to now help you get a proper plan in place for what to do with that money. Here's an article. We took some screenshots of it because, again, you guys will get to know me here on this. We're not spending extra money if we don't need to spend extra money, right? Good old some financial stewardship here. Here is an article. If you can see it from, let's see if I can zoom in a bit. Zoom out. It says, if I could scroll up, maybe not. All right, we'll get it. It says the new magic number for retirement is 1.46 million. This is from Wall Street Journal a couple days ago. The new magic number for retirement is $1.46 million, ladies and gentlemen. How close are you to that? How close are you to getting there? How much is your money compounding to help you get to that place? I don't know, but we should pay attention to this. With inflation and all the things, right? That's how they get to this number. A couple years ago, it says Northwestern Mutual showed that it was 1.27 just a year ago. Over, just 1.27 million was a year ago. Now we're up to 1.4. And at the end of the day, says right in there, people don't really know how much they will need in retirement and often overestimate. So it's important. Let's stop sharing for a second and let's talk about the fact that if we don't know what retirement looks like, how much we're going to need, we almost think it's like it's too much or it's impossible to get there or we'll never be able to get there, specifically because that number is too big or we don't really know what that number is. But again, for a retirement conversation, I will let you all know that just having a number, getting to the place where you understand, okay, this is what I think I would like my lifestyle to be. Is this how much income I would think I would like for me to have on a monthly or annual basis when I retire? Now, again, these are ballpark numbers. You're not going to know specifically, but if you could think about that and say, okay, maybe I live a $75,000 a year lifestyle. Let's use easy numbers because I don't want to do math with you. Let's say you live $100,000 a year lifestyle. That means you need, $8,300 approximately coming in every single month. $8,333 coming in every month if you live $100,000 a year lifestyle. So if you know that you're gonna, over a 20-year, 30-year period, kind of start exhausting some of your money or, making sure that you have enough down the line, then we got to figure out, okay, well, if I need $100,000 a year without interest, right? Because we can start calculating it with interest and all that stuff, but without interest, right? $100,000 a year for 25 years, right? That's $2.5 million. Now, if we throw in, your compounding of interest, if we start using things like you have an account, you're going to do a safe withdrawal. So you only need an account that you're getting, 3.5, 4, maybe 5% interest in, then that number won't need to be as high, because now we can just figure out how much do we need to sit in the account to take out 5% a year and maybe replenish 5% a year. So in that example, again, not thinking about the math on this, if you had $2 million set aside, right? $2 million set aside, and you were getting 5% interest on that, and you were withdrawing 5% a year, that would be your $100,000 a year. All right. So if you got 2 million in an account right now, high yield savings accounts are giving 5%. So you can get a high yield, put 2 million in a high yield savings account, let it kick off 5% a year for you. 5% a year is $100,000. That's how you get to financial independence. That's not even retirement. Now you'll never touch the principal, and you'll just live off of your interest, and you'll always have that, 2 million set aside. But if you don't start paying attention to these numbers and calculating the numbers, ladies and gentlemen, it's not possible for us to get there. We're not going to be able to get there. So we got to start paying attention to some of those things. Here's another article from Yahoo. Let's go to the top. Yahoo. Here's how much Americans have saved up in their retirement accounts by age. So again, real recent account. Says only 54% of American families reported having a dedicated retirement account, like a 401k or something like that. So a little bit over half, almost half of the population don't even have a retirement account. They don't even have a retirement account. So let's go into these median savings by age. Now, again, all these statistics, right? They are what they are. Where do you fall in this, right? That's always a question. Where do you fall in some of these? So here's what it says we'll take the family brackets, right? Or the first one says all families, but let's just break it down by age. For those of you that are listening, you can compare yourself and see where you sit. If you're under 35, the median retirement account has just a little over $18,000, almost $19,000. The median account. That means the middle account. Like half have more, half have less. Not the average, the median, right? Get some math terminology down for you guys. But the under 35s, under $19,000 is the median account. 35 to 44, huge jump. They get up to 45,000. That's the median, meaning the middle. So people between 35 and 44, if you want to be average, if you want to be in the middle, in the median, got to have 45,000 set aside in your retirement accounts. 44 to 54, 115,000 is the median. The median account, right? So 115,000. I know the numbers are going up, but here's where it really gets a little bit depressing, ladies and gentlemen. 55 to 64 and 65 to 74. 55 to 64 and 65 to 74. 55 to 64 says $185,000 as the median. $185,000 as the median. Let's pull the screen down. Let's have a little conversation really quickly. Imagine the person that's 60 years old. Could be you, right? Could be someone in your family. But imagine the person that's 60 years old. And they've been in their career for a bit of time. And at the height of their career, they're making $80,000 a year. Most people don't make 100,000. Let's say they make 80 grand a year. They made 80 grand a year, and that was their lifestyle. And that's what they did every single year. They're bringing in 80 grand, right? Whatever that looks like, 6 grand or something a month or whatever that is. And you have $180,000 saved up for retirement. Let's just say you got 200, like the 65 to 74s. Say you got $200,000 saved up. How many years of retirement did you just save? How many? Like if you've been making $80,000 a year and you got $180 to $200,000, you might have saved up 3 years worth of retirement. Like literally, if you just worked the same way in retirement, spent the same way, lived the same lifestyle, all that stuff, the average person, the median person and below, most likely, right, and probably a bit above, saved up a couple years worth of retirement. A couple years. Guys, I don't know if that scares you, but that's something that's pretty scary. If you've worked your entire life through all the ups and downs, and this is the message, right? You got all the different demographics. This is the message that we often teach younger people, the under 40s, is that everyone has the plan of becoming financially well off, right? Financially independent, having some retirement, being able to stop working, being able to live life the way that they want to on their terms. Like that's most people's outcome when it comes to finances. So what we teach the under 40s is the question is, why doesn't that happen for most people? If that's most people's intention as they get started on their financial journey, as they get started in their work life, as they get started in their careers, they get started in their businesses, if the goal is to get to a place where you're comfortable financially, whatever that means to you, it means like you have enough that comes in, you're not worried about what's going out, right? You're at that spot. If that's the goal for most, then why don't people get there? And it's because life happens, right? You lose a job, you have financial setback, you have a health problem, a health issue, something happens in your family. Maybe you're reckless with your spending, right? Too many liabilities, not enough financial education. It's a bunch of different reasons. But just imagine one day you're going to end up at 65, at 68, at 72. And you're not going to want to go back to work for another 15 years, 20 years. So it's so important for us to make sure that we're setting money aside, that we have a foundation financially that allows us to set money aside for short-term and long-term investments. This is why you guys should get our ebook on savings, because this is the type of stuff we talk about. We talk about the difference between short-term, mid-term, and long-term investing strategies, where to place that money, why you would do it that way. But again, back to these numbers and these articles, right? I wanted to pause there because I don't think we always take into account how much of a retirement crisis we're actually in. Half of people that are 65 to 74 have $200,000 or less inside their retirement accounts. If they made $50,000 a year in their life, in their job, if they lived a $50,000 a year lifestyle, that's still only 4 years worth of retirement. Sure, you put it in an account, hopefully, right? Get yourself a nice annuity or something that will pay you and ration that money out for you. Cool, but just knowing that you're 67 years old and you saved up 4 years to 6 years worth of retirement, man, what happens? Happens when you're 78? You got to go back to work. We got to ask our kids for money. Like what's the plan? What's the plan? So these numbers always are shocking every time I look at them and every time I share this with people, but we're bringing it to you today for a couple reasons. One, it's Financial Literacy Month. So it's our duty and our responsibility to help you educate yourself financially, get around the right people, get the right information, get a financial plan in place for yourself and your family, and really design what your life looks like financially and go after those goals. That's one of the reasons we're talking about this, because this month is important to have the conversation. Number two, really thinking about the career that you're choosing and if it's going to allow you to get to retirement. If your job is just allowing you to live paycheck to paycheck, If you're not able to raise that discretionary income a bit, bring in some more money, lower the expenses, just so you can put some more money away long term, we got to think about different career choices, ladies and gentlemen. That's the premise of the show, is showing you the options of like what's out there in the industry you chose. If you're looking to go back to school or change careers or get into a new profession, like what are the pros and cons? Where should you go? Are you just making that decision because of money? Or do you have other reasons why you would choose that job or that business or that profession or whatever it is? One of those things is, will this help me to retire? One of those deciding factors could be, is this going to help me retire? Is this going to help me get to the place where I don't have to go back to work, where I have enough money set aside? I don't have to go back to work. Does your job or your career have the horsepower to get you to where you want to be in retirement? If you can't see a direct path, if you can't see how you can get to a place where you're saving and investing $400, $500, $600, $1,000 a month, $1,500 a month, if you can't see yourself getting to that place at your job, well, we got to find some different ways of making income, because that's what we got to get to, ladies and gentlemen. I showed you the article, said $1.46 million is what it takes to retire. Right? Average number. Could be a little bit less for some people, could be a bit more, but $1 million, it's going to be over that. So what's your plan on getting there? What's your plan on getting there? Again, drop a comment in to let me know how you're planning on getting to retirement. Because too often I hear, I'll never retire. Again, as a financial coach, I come across a lot of people. So we ask the question, hey, what does retirement look like for you? Right? What do we need to do to get there? And what do we hear? Oh man, I'll never retire. Man, I'll probably never retire. Man, I'll probably work until I die. Ha 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 ha. They make a joke. They're dead serious. They just rather laugh than cry. Right? You rather laugh than cry. But after looking at some of these numbers, we have to evaluate. We have to take a look and listen and say, hey, man, where are we at financially? And are we doing everything we need to do to put that money in the right places to be able to get ourselves to whatever we believe is retirement? And again, people have different definitions of retirement. My definition is being able to work because you want to and not because you have to. That next dollar won't change your life. I heard Mark Cuban say that one time. My next dollar won't change my life. What is it like when you get to the place where your next dollar really doesn't change anything? Your next $1,000 really doesn't change anything. Your next $100,000 really doesn't change anything. Your next million really doesn't change anything. Like, you still live the same life and do the same things and have the same access. What would that feel like? Feel a lot better than working until you die. So, are you on track for retirement? That's the question. That was today's show. Are you on track for retirement? If not, here's some things we got to evaluate. One, do you know even how much you need for retirement? Number one, do you know how much you need? If you're not on track, maybe it's just because you don't know what track to be on. You don't know how far down the track you are because you don't have a destination. You don't have an end goal. So number one, do you know how much you actually need in order to retire? Number two, does your job or your career have the horsepower to get you there? Are you in a position, and can you see a trajectory in your current career where you can get to the point of, after the emergency fund, right? After the short-term savings, you still have the ability to put away $300, $500, $800, $1,000, $1,200, $1,500, $2,000 a month for your retirement? Does your income provide that type of cash flow? If not, we got some options. We got to go out and figure out, what are we doing to bring in more money? What are we doing to bring in more income? All right. Thirdly, sit down with somebody like me. Sit down with a financial professional. If you don't know where you're at right now, or you think you're far behind, or you think you might be on track, or you look at some of these numbers and, right, you look at some of these numbers, I put them back up on the screen for the last time. and you say, "Hey, Chris, like I'm actually way above my age bracket. I'm 37, and I have $90,000 saved. You know, I'm 46, and I have $250,000 saved. Like I'm above these median numbers. These median numbers look really low. Okay, but are we on track? Do you work with anyone financially, or do you just work with? And again, no knock, right? You get your information from where you choose. But are you just getting your financial information from the guy that shows up at your job once a quarter? And then you set up a meeting, right? With the advisor, not air quotes that he's an advisor, he probably is. But like the meeting that he has with all the employees, not knowing you specifically, or right, just kind of giving you the spiel. Is that where you get your retirement information and education from? The people that supply you the policies, or the 401k account, or the 403b account, or the 457, or whatever it is. Might make sense to have some outside information, third party, somebody, financial coach, financial planner, another outside advisor that you have that could take a look and say, hey, you are on track, or hey, maybe we want to think about some things differently. Or, hey, maybe we want to change our strategy from tax deferred to tax advantaged. Maybe we've put enough into the tax deferred bucket that's not really helping our taxable income, our tax bracket this year. So maybe we want to start shifting some of this stuff into the Roth side of things and putting it tax advantage and just taking our tax hit right now. Who's giving you these instructions, this advice? So that's why I highly recommend sitting down with a financial professional to really dive into some of these topics. Again, ladies and gentlemen, as a financial coach, I'm here to help you. I'm here to give you resources, here to guide you down the path, here to make sure that you can hit all your financial goals, but more importantly, that you just have resources to talk to someone about what you specifically are dealing with. I was having this conversation with someone on Instagram, and I said, hey, people take financial advice from the wrong people all the time, not just the internet, right? Because some people do take their financial advice from the internet. Right, I'm coming to you on the internet, so I know how ironic that could be, because I do want you to listen to me. But a lot of people take financial information from the wrong people. You take it from friends, family, coworkers that are in the same position, if not a worse position than us. You've never looked at your coworker's finances. You've never looked at the budget for your coworker. You've never looked at their debt. You've never really looked at their personal savings account, meaning their emergency fund. However, they're advising you on what's the right retirement account for you. They're telling you what to do with your long-term money from what they've done with it, but you have no idea. It's not like they're professional in it. It's not like they have a background in it. They work where you work. Never looked at their finance. So how can you take that information? People do that all the time, though. Take advice from your family. Just because you love them and you trust them doesn't mean it's the right advice. Doesn't mean it's the right information. So sitting down with a financial professional is important. Find a trusted one. That's why we're here. We can build a relationship. You can learn to trust. Most importantly, we want to educate. Don't just want to sell you a product, or right. We want to make sure you're educated about money. We all deserve a solid financial education. And I'm telling you this because it's April. It's Financial Literacy Month. And this month, we really talk a lot about how do people take their financial IQ to the next level. Whatever you learned or believe that you know about money, how do you go here? Because there's levels to money. That's why the ebooks that we dropped 5 ebooks, one for cash flow, one for debt, one for savings, one for insurance, and one for estate plans. But they're called the 101 ebooks, the foundation, the 101 level. That's what they are, because there's levels to money. The higher up you go, the more you realize what you don't know. and all the different strategies you don't know, but you have to play at your level before you can pass to the next level. You have to get your foundation right before we get to the 202 level and start talking some other strategies, or the 303 level where we start getting to some other higher level strategies where we're now talking about, right, how to shield money from taxes and how to structure businesses properly and those types of things. But if you're not there yet, it's okay. But you got to build a foundation first. And that's what we would come in and help you with. If you want to grab those ebooks, again, you'll probably find the link in the description down below. So you can click on download that ebook. They're completely free. Again, it's all the stuff that we've accumulated that we would normally say when sitting down in a coaching session or have a client one-on-one. It's the same information. It's the same stuff. And if you actually apply it, it'll bless your life. It'll make sure that you put yourself in a position where your family can build to wherever you want to go. And if you need additional assistance and you need someone to hold you accountable or talk through some things, that's when you can reach out. All right. Thank you for checking in and tuning in this week on another BizBuzz Live. Again, the month of April is Financial Literacy Month, so we're going to be talking a little bit more about money, but we're going to tie it into how that impacts your job, career, business life, whatever it is. Might even bring, like I said, have some guests on this month and bring on some people that maybe are in the financial space so you can understand what we do in our industry and how it works. But yeah, that's it. Make sure that you tune in, continue to tune in every Wednesday, share this with somebody that you know would value it. And then let's jump back in next Wednesday for another episode of BizBuzz Live. Until then, take care, y'all. Peace.